Hey, Coach, obviously coming off the bye week, you guys had some time to tweak some things, make some adjustments. How's the past 2 weeks been looking like for you guys?
Last week we had a really good week. It was unique because we weren't playing, and so typically when we're not playing, assistant coaches will go recruiting. So Coach Piscaris was gone for most of the week, and Coach Carr was gone for the second half of the week. So it was a little bit unique in that situation. But what we did was put together a plan that resembled a normal game week because we didn't want to change the routine because we feel like it's important that guys get used to the routine, especially coming off. Not only we're a bye week, but we're also just coming into the second semester. So we tried to keep it as normal in terms of the schedule as possible. And then this week, now we're basically replicating what we did last week. So it's been good.
All right, then we can open up questions from the team's chat.
I got one, a couple actually. Minnesota's been playing fairly well lately. They got off to a slow start. What are you looking to see from them, and how do you expect to counter it?
Yeah, you're right. They've been playing real well of late, Peter. I think when I was watching their game this weekend, I think they said they haven't lost in the new year. So they're coming in here feeling pretty good about themselves. And in reference to the slow start, they basically completely changed everybody in a leadership role in that program. So there's going to be some transition time, for them. And I feel like any difficulty they had early was probably just them getting used to the new staff and the new staff getting used to them. But it seems like they're all on the same page right now, and they've been playing very well.
Okay, good. Now to your personnel. Brody Waters, how do you get him going again?
He's almost a victim of his own success. When you say get him going again as a freshman, he's done a really nice job and was probably slotted in a role he wasn't really ready for, but he's certainly taken advantage of that opportunity. We felt like at the end of the first half there, we had a lot of guys getting tired. Their gas tank was getting close to empty and they were running on fumes. And Brody was one of those guys, and that's to be expected for a freshman, getting put in a situation where he's playing as much as he's playing. They're bound to get tired because they're just not used to it. He's come back from the break feeling good. We thought he was good both games against Ohio State, and it is definitely going to be a big piece for us the second half, and we switched the lines up a little bit on Saturday of Ohio State, and it wasn't because Brody did anything wrong. It was just because we're trying to get some other guys going and other guys in different spots. But we expect Brody to have a real good second half of the CCHA season.
Okay, yeah, because he had a really good start, and I thought, to watch him, to see him continue improving. And like you said, he looked like he kind of ran out of gas a little bit, but hopefully in the second half he'll have a little more juice to burn off. How's the goaltending situation looking?
Yeah, both guys are healthy and feeling good this weekend. And I think if you asked me today what's going to happen in net, I would tell you that chances are you'll see both of our guys this weekend, but we're not going to commit to anything just yet. But we feel good about both of them. They both had real good weeks of practice, which is good. And again, if we can have both of those guys playing their best for us, that'll be a really good thing.
Okay, and final one I have is Sternberg. Is he been more of a surprise to you than you thought he would be, or is his development been as expected?
He's another one where as a freshman, you're just not real sure where they slot in, right? And because of, Dalton Norris got hurt early, and how much Dalton has played for us in the past, and we had some other guys out for various things. Our numbers on the back end were pretty lean there for a while, and Gustav has played a lot of hockey, and he's a kid that the thing I think that helps him the most in terms of why he's been successful is he's a confident young man. I don't think the situation or the moment scares Gustav. He wants to play in every situation and feels comfortable in that situation. So maybe surprised a little bit, but based on how he's wired and who he is, him taking advantage of his opportunity and doing the things he's done doesn't surprise us, because again, when you look back at what we want to be and our core values of toughness, he certainly fits that, and our core values of discipline, and he can play a bunch of different situations, and he's a kid that he takes care of himself off the ice, and tries to do extra things, which is one thing Brody's been doing too, is getting in the gym and doing some extra work just so he can be ready for the second half stretch run. And I think Gustav fits into that same mold. He wants to be a hockey player, and so those guys are guys that are fun to be around on a daily basis.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed about him was his neutral zone play. I thought he does a fantastic job of closing the gap in the neutral zone and trying to stop teams' offense before it gets going, which, something you don't see much anymore. You usually see so many teams' defense back up, where he plays a lot more aggressive and tries to break up the play before it even gets started.
Yeah, I think his makeup is such that he wants to go, Peter, versus sit back. He wants to dictate the terms of the battle, So you're right. There's a play in the neutral zone. He sees an opportunity to break something up. He's not gonna back off and necessarily play it safe.
Yeah, the only thing about that is you got to find the right partner for him who's willing to back it up.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a good thing for us is that we've got, we're getting healthier. We expect that at some point this weekend, whether it's Friday or Saturday or both nights, we'll dress 7 defensemen, which we haven't had the luxury of doing for a long time.
Yeah, I do. I mean, talking about those two guys, Sternberg and Brody, it's like it's actually enjoyable when you see both of them out there at the same time, because they make that side of the ice very, very tough for the other team to play on.
Yeah, they do. They're both certainly willing to get engaged physically, and which certainly helps. And they're big bodies, and they're not afraid to use them, which is great.
Yeah, you can tell I'm a little more old school. I like the physical type play. So,
well, I thought based on how we played last weekend, we were very, very happy with our guys' effort, and which typically we are. Our guys are not a group that doesn't play hard, but I felt like we were engaged in it all weekend. Every up and down the lineup, we had a bunch of guys engaged in it physically, a bunch of guys engaged in things emotionally, a bunch of guys, engaged in it mentally. We were invested in, and even though the results weren't what we wanted, our goals for the second half is to improve in the CCHA. We want to improve our goals per game. We want to improve our power play percentage. We want to, improve the amount of attempts and shots we get in CCHA games. And if we're going to do that, we have to be invested. And, defensively, I'd like to see our goals against, go down. And I'd like to see our penalty kill percentage continue to go up and us be one of the better penalty killing teams in the conference. And then, discipline wise, I think we can take less penalties while still being physical. And then I think blocking shots is something we've gotten good at, and I see no reason for us to not to continue to push and improve in those areas. And the players know that, and they're going to do everything in their power to if we can improve in those areas of the game, I think the results will be in our favor.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you talk about blocking shots, I mean, that's a key. If you're going to play a system where you're going to front the shooter all the time and basically leave a guy open in front, you got to make that commitment to block the shots. And like you said, that's something it's just got to be a personal commitment from every player to do, is to block those shots. But getting back to what you're saying about the conference itself, I mean, from what I've seen, it's pretty wide open still.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with you, Peter. Yeah, I think there's a good and a bad to that. The good part is that every night you play a conference game, you've got an opportunity to be successful. On the other side of that is there's no off weekends, and you've got to, anybody can beat you, so you can't, regardless of where we're at in the standings and what, if we've played, now we'll play Minnesota State this weekend for the first time, so we haven't had them, but then the rest of our games will be against teams we've already played. So you can throw out what happened the first series because it really doesn't matter. You've got to be ready to play every weekend, and that's our focus. We play this year because of Augustana being a part of everybody's schedule. We're not playing the normal 26-game CCHA regular season schedule. We're playing 24. And so one of the things we've talked about with our group is, the first 12 games in our conference season, we can't do anything about them. They're ours. We own them. That's our record. But we can do something about the next 12. And our goal is to improve in those areas that I've talked about. And then at the end of the season, we're going to play somebody and we'll be ready. That's the goal.
That's great. All right. Well, looking forward to seeing the games and continue success.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, Coach, I was going to ask about, you've talked about mixing and matching as well. Do you kind of anticipate that with the PK and the power play coming up this weekend potentially?
Yeah, the penalty kill, we typically have up front, we like to have 4 sets of players you can work with. So that's 8 forwards that you can use on the kill. We've got some guys that have done a nice job in their career that are probably always going to be a part of it. Top of my head, I feel like, Jaden Grant and Quinn Emerson are guys that are locked into being part of our penalty kill. Owen Ozar's been a part of it, pretty regular. Ethan Scardina, Seth Fighton, Spencer Kirsten, we're going to try to find a couple more guys to add to that mix. And then on the power play, Coach Pascaris has got his groups, and getting Michael Bevilacqua back will help because Michael's pretty natural on the power play. Having a healthy Dalton Norris certainly is good for us. He scored a power play goal last weekend, so basically we're going to go with the guys that earn the opportunity, and then whoever stays hot. I feel like the penalty kill groups and the players you see kill, that's a pretty consistent group of players. The power play can change based on injuries, can based on how guys are playing, but we expect both of those units to be really good the second half.
The face-off success has been pretty consistent throughout the year too, and that's something that's helped you generate scoring opportunities. Is there something in practice you guys are kind of working on to make sure you're keeping that 54% and better percentage to try and gain those opportunities?
Yeah, we've acknowledged it. Right now we're first in the CCHA in face-off percentage, and that's important. And our goal is to continue to be there because, again, especially in special teams, if you win the face-off special teams wise, that's important. Either you're getting a clear on the penalty kill or you're getting possession on the power play, and then that can lead to offense right away. So we focus on everybody being ready for the draws, but a lot of that has to do with the additions of Spencer Kirsten and Josh Nodler. Those guys have been very good on draws. Jaden Grant's good on draws, and Ethan Scardina's been working hard to improve them. So we feel like we've got 4 guys that can take faceoffs that are really good at it.
Appreciate you, Coach. Thanks.
And Coach, last question here. I just wanted to ask about the teddy bear toss, kind of how exciting that event is for the players and what that event means for your team.
Yeah, I mean, they look forward to it. The hope is that we score early and it happens right away. But it's something that has really become popular in hockey, and I think that the fans enjoy it and our guys enjoy, helping pick up the teddy bears. Then obviously they go to a good cause, which is good for everybody.